Bloomberg Audio Studios. Podcasts, radio, news.
The Stock Movers Podcast, your roundup of companies making moves in the stock market, harnessing the power of Bloomberg data.
I'm Tim Stenovec along with Carol Massar. Let's take a look at some stocks on the move. One name that is partaking in this rally is Carnival. We've got with us Brian Egger, senior gaming and lodging analyst for Bloomberg Intelligence. It's not just Carnival. It's also Norwegian, Royal Caribbean, Viking, also higher. But it's because of news from Carnival. What happened?
Yeah, they had earnings. What's notable about Carnival is they last reported their March quarter February quarter in March. So that predated Liberation Day. So this is actually their first earnings print since that tariff effect. And one of the rivals, Norwegian Cruise Lines, did slightly lower revenue yield guidance for 2025 when they reported in late April because of that initial tariff effect and the concerns about the economy. So the good news for Carnival is they maintained their second half outlook, actually slightly raised their full year view. So they did not appear to experience any lingering effect of tariffs and economic worries on their bookings.
Is it right, smart by investors, Brian, that when one cruise company comes out and says something that the rest all ride, tide, what is it?
Rising tide lifts all ships.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you so much.
I think
exactly. Because are they all the same that we can do that?
It's reasonable to assume that to a large degree. The great thing is Norwegian and Royal had a chance to speak to the street back in late April, right after this tariff anxiety really began to build up. Carnival hadn't really spoken about their earnings profile since late March. So this is all kind of like new territory. And the fact that they reaffirmed their outlook rather than lowering it, I think was why the stocks reacted so buoyantly.
How do you look at these cruise companies? Because you also cover gaming, you cover lodging, so you have an understanding of the whole ecosystem. When we talk to the folks at these companies and we ask them specifically about the health of the consumer, they love to say, we're such a good value. We are fine in good times and in not so good times because consumers find us a good value. Is that the case?
Yeah, I think Carnival even said on their call, we're so cheap, it's stupid. Really, I mean, it's an affordable vacation when you wind up with other types of vacations, but they're also a beneficiary of the fact that leisure discretionary travel has been pretty resilient. We've been waiting for some shoe to drop in terms of the impact of tariff concerns, but it's been pretty strong.
We thought that shoe dropped a few months ago when all the airlines pulled their guidance, or United gave two different sets of guidance.
Did a little bit. I think what Carnival said specifically about economic concerns is April, their bookings did weaken a little bit, consistent with what we saw from Norwegian. But into May and the first half of June, they kind of came back. So there was an early reaction where consumers, pulled in their spending a little bit, or at least were a bit more cautious. That seems to, at least for now, have receded. Obviously,
Brian, these guys, I mean, people book out cruises sometimes a year, 2 years in advance. And is there anything that we got in terms of longer term outlook? I mean, they can cancel, we know that. But I always like talking to these folks because they do have bookings that go kind of further out.
Yep. So they're 90% plus booked effectively for this year. Going into next year, it's a little too early to tell because the big bookings season for cruise lines is typically first couple months of the calendar year. So we don't know yet, but initial indications of bookings are strong.
The Stock Movers Podcast from Bloomberg Radio. Check back with us throughout the day for the latest roundup of companies making news on Wall Street. And for the latest market-moving headlines, listen to Bloomberg Radio live. Catch us on YouTube, Bloomberg.com, and on Apple CarPlay and Android Auto with the Bloomberg Business app.